Welcome back to part 7 of FTCR's Sonic Unlessoned Let's Play. We got the same crew from last time, and everyone's still mad at me about part 6.
Oh no, someone knocked out Mike Pollock.
Not again.
I love that for some reason at the start that just had Dark Gaia. They just had the title show up, like, briefly. Like, is that supposed to happen, or was that another one of your glitches?
Dark Gaia?
The Dark Gaia Phoenix title.
Oh, I didn't do that. Was that not supposed to happen?
I assume it wasn't supposed to show up, like, right before the cutscene starts, so...
Maybe I resetted a few minutes into it or something. Or right as that was playing on the screen and it was still there.
Yeah, the water's
say that was a great
effective
meme.
against the Firebird. Chris, you fucking genius.
Get fucked, Moltres, no one likes you.
Wouldn't this be
I
more
am Team
ho-oh?
Mystic. It's more
Sauce.
yeah.
This is always...
I love... Yeah, go ahead.
Ooh.
Oh, you're saying this is what I always wanted in a Sonic game, is Sonic just mercilessly beating up a Phoenix, you know? That's what this franchise needed from the get-go.
Fuck
mean,
you, Jean Grey.
Oh, you took it.
Haha.
This is kind of against Sonic's creed because he's beating the shit out of a random nature bird. Like, he's supposed to protect the animals, right?
Kirby did the same thing, but he did it against a Robo Phoenix. So
What
Yeah,
if-
but Kirby's a mass murderer. Sonic isn't.
To quote Comic Sonic, I'm gonna do what I did to Chaos. I'm gonna beat the evil out of you.
well, to quote
also-
Charles Darwin,
I mean, he wasn't necessarily saving the creatures he freed in Sky Chase Zone, so...
Well, also to quote Sonic
He was
and
religiously saving them.
to quote Sonic and the Black Knight, Sonic doesn't appear to be opposed to murdering somebody if it will save the day.
Yeah, but that chick deserved it. This is just a fucking dumb bird.
No, I mean when she talks about having to slay the Black Knight, and he goes, "Well, I guess I can't be the hero every time." Sonic
Yeah,
don't
but
give
he
a fuck.
deserved it because he's a knight. He's a
Oh,
dork.
in the crotch.
Did you punch that dick in his dickless dick space?
There's a lot of nut shots in the leash, not gonna lie.
Did you edit that, or did it actually have a transition, just to him being in the square that quickly?
Yes.
It's not that quickly. It's Chris's fast.
I like how we're edit paranoid at this point. We're like, we can't tell what's game and what's edit. Like, Chris has conditioned us. Like,
Chris's
at
edit
an
is-
How
alarming
shitty is this game?
rate.
Chris's edit is more confusing than a fucking Michael Bay movie. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore.
It could be. At least it's not that Queen movie.
Oh shit!
I
Yeah,
applied for that, but I didn't get it.
Chris
Bohemian
it on.
Rhapsody.
Also, before it finishes, I want to say I love this song so much.
Yeah, it's Gucci.
Yeah.
Now, this is the sexy saxophone I wanted more of in the main boss battles, or the main battle themes, I should say.
Nut shot. Just repeated nut shot.
Why would you do that in the game, Sega? What the fuck is wrong with you? So here's the thing then for the combat then action. How do you feel then about what some people, myself included, might say is the overuse of QuickTime events?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think that's my key criticism with it as well, the overuse part. I think used sparingly, QuickTime events can be interesting if there's an element of strategy to them. Like, you know, if you use one QuickTime event, you have one option where, you know, you could attack the boss one way, or if you choose another option in the QuickTime event, you could go with another route of attack on the boss. But if it's just a cheap way of, you know, you either fail the attack completely or you press this arbitrary button on time, it doesn't feel like it's really adding to the experience at all. It feels kind of cheap.
I think QuickTime events work the best for the for the finisher moves, because you don't have to do a finisher move in order to beat a boss, but you can do it and you'll get more XP or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, that's another thing with the Werehog, is that there aren't enough finisher moves, in my opinion. There should be more options for finishers.
Yeah, if there were a bunch of cartoony finisher moves, I'd probably use them way more. But
I know you.
at a point, it's like, well, he tosses them, punches them a lot, and then jumps off them. That's about kind of
Yeah,
it.
but you have this
See, I-
you have this creature with stretchy limbs and spiky shoes and just overall, you know, wacky design, and you only have what, 2 finishers? There's
See, it's
so much
kind of
potential.
funny. The last game I heard like people talk about like finishers and the way that they designed them for maximizing essentially that fun factor was for the new Doom game. How they had a whole presentation like just on the finishers and like how they designed them and how they were using them as player rewards. How they basically program like enemies cannot damage you during finishers, so there's always just that reward in that they're always slightly quicker or just as quick to like finish off an enemy anyway, so might as well finish your them off.
I could see that.
What the fuck
think-
does that mean? Strike 3.
It's called
What's the
baseball.
name? Bowling.
Because that was the third. Oh god.
Thumbs up.
I like QuickTime events as a way to make things a little more cinematic, but the fact that it uses the exact same cinematic 3 times in that fight really bothers me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but it adds one thing extra each time. That makes it completely different.
Big fart.
like if you're going to use QuickTime events, at least make it feel like your, button presses are amounting to something. Like I like the part where, for example, you have a QuickTime event and it's having you press the same button 50 times, and each of those presses corresponds to, for example, one punch that Sonic throws. In that kind of QuickTime event, it can be kind of engaging because it actually feels like you're actually throwing each one of those punches. But if it's just a really random button press, placed somewhere arbitrary during the little cinematic, then, it feels kind of pointless.
Hey, you got an achievement, Chris.
Thanks. I have them all for Sonic Unleashed.
No.
Wow. Was it worth it?
No,
What did it cost?
everything. Until Sonic Racing Transformed, I had every achievement for every Sonic game, but you have to have friends for Transformed, so I stopped trying to get them all for every Sonic game. Oh, he's nice now.
Kid it again. Kid it again.
His temple is lit as fuck.
You know,
What
is
the
that
fuck, Chris? What the actual
Now-
fuck, Chris?
Now that I hear it, now I can hear Pollock.
You did hear Pollock at the begin with?
No.
so?
See, that's why I had to
Chris.
put the picture there.
Chris, I don't know if this is one of those once you see it you can't unsee it, but doesn't the Phoenix's face look like the World Guardians in Billy Hatcher?
Let me totally Google the World Guardians real
Oh
quick.
come on! They're big giant chickens. They're giant chicken dudes.
Don't talk about Martin McFly that way, he gets upset.
Nobody calls me yellow.
That's racist.
Okay, now that I've Googled it, I will agree with you. Yes, I thought you was going to make the comparison to the third act of the Digimon movie, where the big dark Nefanimon, or whoever the fuck, turns into the good guy.
Oh, wait. Talking about in the movie Trubimon into Kirpimon, I think was that transition?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now we're
yes.
talking.
But no, because see, there's
Wait,
actually another connection.
everyone
'cause-
shut up, he's got a Subway sandwich.
He's got a frame rate impacting sandwich for us all.
That sandwich is actually pretty, well graphicked.
It's a Havoc.
I was about to say, yeah, that sandwich doesn't really
That
blend in with
sentence,
the rest
that
of the
sentence
environment.
was badly grammared, Stefan.
I speak decently okay.
I'm sorry, Action, you're saying?
I was just saying what you guys said, basically how that sandwich doesn't really blend in that well with the art style of everyone else, like Eggman and the environment in general. It feels like it was, designed for some other game and just pasted in here.
Sidebar for this sidebar. I like that they put the opening cinematic in this cutscene, but due to it being in this cutscene, it's slowed down.
I don't want to hear about its weight issues.
Yeah. I will say I love this cutscene track, Eggman's idea. It's a really good track.
I don't like Orbot pre-Qbot. This doesn't feel right.
SA55. Codename Sass.
I love this part where they include the little extra bit of Eggman getting
Yes,
mad, but
I
it's still
love that.
but it's still in the CG.
Aww. I love that. It's such great.
And I know one of the I forget which version, but one of the versions cuts him off very much faster before you see him get angry.
Probably the Wii
Fuck that
version.
version.
Yeah.
I want to say outside of SA2, where he was a playable character, Unleashed is really the first. Oh, outside of SA2 and SA1 with Gamma, because Gamma at the beginning was tied to Eggman. This is really the first game where in the story we cut to what Eggman's doing. No other game has really had that. I think since then it became more of a thing with like Forces starts that way. Colors obviously has a few cutscenes where it's from Eggman's point of view, which you know what, I like it. I like the fact that we're this is great. No one likes a whiner.
Well, yeah, because he dips out in Hero for plot reasons, and then he's not around really for Shadow. And then
you know what?
06, he's just busy, with princess things. So, yeah.
Sitting in a train.
I tell a lie. In Shadow the Hedgehog, there is that actual CG cutscene of him watching footage of him watching the intro essentially, and then he charges, he makes his things go. But
he's like, Egg Pawns, go pre-order the game. The cinematic looks amazing. It'll have to be good.
That's what all the game graphics will look like.
The graphics.
I wonder how you're supposed to get up there.
Somebody help! I don't know how to play video games. Oh, I did it.
Congrats.
I'm surprised.
Oh, you're gonna go play the second best level in the game.
Missouri
No,
Day.
I'm not at Dragon Road.
Ooh, that got controversial real quick.
Sorry.
I actually really love this level.
Me too.
Everyone loves this
I think of all the levels, this is probably one of the ones that really gives you that sense of speed, most effectively. I can't think. I guess maybe parts of Windmill Isle.
I'm not sure how much of a hot take this is, but I think in every possible conceivable way, the version in Generations is better.
Yeah,
I'd agree with that,
In terms of level design, in terms of music, in terms of aesthetic, because this is a great level, but most of it is just like gray bricks. It's pretty. I'm gonna say this, and I fully away people in the comments to say they hate Ted, but this is aesthetically kind of a dull looking level. Aside from sections like this, we get the orange roofs, but a lot of it is just gray brick.
Generations did improve it because it added all those like balloons and
They
stuff.
added balloons.
Generation basically gave you a Rooftop Run final mix because it was all the same stuff.
Rooftop Run final mix.
What I love is that you can actually, for like a few seconds, like if you end up falling into those like depths with all those buildings, you can still run for a little bit. Like there is flat surface in those areas, but they like dies like you die like right as you do it.
And again, Chris, you might know more than I, but I read somewhere that Rooftop Run in Generations, it's built on top of Rooftop Run in this game. So like the section where we see all the buildings from below, I guess from what I read somewhere, the Sonic team took that section from Unleashed and just put the Generations model on top of it. So
Can I tell you where I heard that?
Where?
From Smoothies in this very Let's Play.
That's
So I'm going to say, yes, of course that's true.
That's how long ago.
Cite your sources.
That's how long ago we recorded the first 4 parts. I completely forgotten that came from him.
Yeah, Gareth, you had this whole shtick where you're like, all right, I've got the soundtrack soundbook. Let's talk about the live instruments recorded for this
Holy
game.
fucking shit. I'm going to go get that right now. You boys keep speaking. I'll be back in a second.
All right, everyone, I've been charging my limit break, and it's about to pop. I've got the hottest Sonic Unleashed take I'm about to drop. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm interested.
Oh no.
This music track is a very, very messy music track. The guitar is going in separate audio channels left and right. It's very muddled, and I want to like it, but I don't enjoy listening to it at all.
Oh, I'd agree.
How dare you?
I would actually agree with that. Like, composition-wise, I love it, the main melody and everything, but as far as the sound mixing and, the instrumentation, yeah, it is kind of messy.
It does have
Oh,
that
no.
whole Sonic Unleashed, not real instrument.
Oh, you saved yourself.
Oh,
Nice.
man, I love when they introduce the whole time mechanic.
Yeah, the rewind feature, man. It's becoming more popular nowadays, but Unleashed really pioneered it.
It just got really lame though when they had to when you had the adventure with Tails and he would just grab your hand and pull you up from any pitfall. It's like, where is even the difficulty?
Yeah, there's like that white tails. That was a little weird.
So
I think I took that reference a little too far.
since recording the
Oh,
last,
what a great view!
since recording the last part, I literally have no idea where I put the booklet. My
Oh
soundtrack.
no. I mean, that was almost half a year ago.
You had a
I've got
whole
my bootleg soundtrack somewhere.
you had a whole thing ready and prepared, Gareth, but you're not delivering.
This is just like Croc, where I wasted half an hour in every part reading the fucking manual.
You've left me
But at
just
least
as
you actually read the
unsatisfied as when we
manual.
have sex.
Yeah. Well, Rooftop Run, obviously the violins are all real in this.
I like the violins in the Generations mix a bit more because they feel more prominent.
Yeah, well, again, I think everything in you know what, and this is
Uh-oh.
this is
Nice.
also
Look, so you can run. You can run on the floor. That's great.
this
Yeah, I was just showing off Stefan's point there.
this is also my hot take about Generations. I think Tomiro Otani did a better job of remixing his own music to sound new and fresh than Jun Tsunoy did. That's my hot take.
That's a lukewarm take, if anything.
I know, right?
Otani came in and was like, I guess I can do more than a new drum and bass track on this. Or make Emerald Coast sound like it was recorded through a potato.
Yeah, I think Emerald Coast sounds worse than the original versions.
Yeah, and I was really excited for that stage too.
It's
I
weird
was
though.
like, I can't wait to hear what June does with his music in 2011.
It's weird because all of June's remixes for tracks he didn't do, like Chemical Plant, Mushroom Hill, like Sonic 2, Death Egg, they're some of my favorites. But for some reason, the tracks that were his, it's like his Speed Highway, but with a louder drum, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
And Cash Cash had some of the best remixes.
So
Oh, God, yeah.
I have a take of questionable temperature.
Go for it.
Uh-oh.
Bring back Hideki Nakamura. I don't care if it has to be for Rush 3. I don't give a fuck.
That's not controversial. Everybody believes that.
That's a god tier take.
Mexi, that is the coldest take imaginable. 'Cause if
Okay, I
everyone
wasn't
like a
sure
Frozen
because
take.
I feel like there are people that like don't even like Rush soundtracks. Like, okay, you just don't like nice things. That's
don't
fine.
deserve oxygen.
I have a Twitter block list specifically made just for those people.
For people who
and
just
advertising
can't handle too black and too strong.
Yeah, what's the Venn diagram look like between people who dislike Rush's soundtrack and the people who pronounce it Hydrosity?
it. Perfect circle.
Well, no, because I love the Rush soundtrack and I pronounce it Hydrosity, so no.
You're a fucking idiot, Stefan.
In which way? Are you saying I'm an idiot because I like Rush's soundtrack?
I'm saying you're an idiot because you pronounce it the incorrect way and you think anything Zemo was a good villain.
Zemo is a good villain.
Comic or movie?
You just don't.
Okay,
You just don't like good
All right,
things.
my Let's Play, I'm making an executive decision here. No Marvel movie onions in this Let's Play. Not a
Okay,
single
Chris.
one.
He started it anyway, Mr. Chris.
It's my channel. I can do what the fuck I want. Shut up, Stefan.
It's true. Let's talk more about Skooma.
He's harassing me, Mr. Chris.
Good. As the HR representative, I endorse it.
Good, get fucked.
I was wondering who our HR is.
Hey everyone, it's me, the guy with no access to the Twitter. I'm our PR person.
Hey. No, you said HR. HR is different than PR.
Well, we're a small company.
Look
I have
at
to
that
do
water
multiple.
effects.
I'm trying to drown him so I can make Bloody Sonic, but no luck.
TJ's our
Bloody
accountant,
Sonic?
which is why
Yeah,
we make no money.
This is the part where the Let's Play turns into a creepypasta.
Oh, damn it.
Sonic
we
sexy,
should
right?
have asked Elliot to join.
Warehog.exe.
Eep!
EXE.
I thought you were one of those red text robots. Fuck your culture.
Look at all those red text robots.
So the thing is that Sonic Unleashed is a story about imperialism and about in this video essay.
Please make it.
How one hedgehog travels the world imprinting his martial law on everyone he comes across.
Notice that all the cultures are seen and paradigmed as other, and Sonic comes along and just kicks it in the face with his spiky boots.
Do you guys remember when, after the person who made most of the Wentos rumors came out as false, someone went on 4chan under the name Brenda, that reporter, and was like, well, I've got the real scoops, and was like
someone
trying
did
to
that?
leak
That's
shit in
fucking
character?
amazing.
It was so bad, and no one fell for it, and it got no traction. But I just want to let that person know you were seen, and I respect you
That's
slightly.
fantastic. This, do you know what? Here's also another hot take. I think this level might be better than Rooftop Run.
I think this is one of my favorites in the entire game, so I'm with you.
Fair enough.
I do really
I-
like
Here.
it.
I remember I like fever dreamed imagine like a mashup between this and I think it was Chie's theme in like the Persona fighting games. And I swore it was a mashup that existed because they're similar songs. People always make the comparison and like, oh, Chie's theme is just Dragon Road, but I could have sworn at some point someone did a mashup of them, but I could never find it again, so I must have just imagined it.
I just remember when the first soundtrack rips came out, the opening like 10-second segment wasn't included. So I remember getting the soundtrack, the actual soundtrack for the first time, and oh, holy shit, this is new.
There's percussion now.
The
Those-
drum.
I love that fucking leftover eagle from Kingdom Valley. What the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Literally the same bird.
That literally looked like a JPEG because its wings did not move. Like it just went across the screen with that very stock eagle sound effect.
Someone at Sonic Team was just like, I really like this bird. I just want it back.
Now you will drown in
the
these
back.
sections if you aren't fast enough. So don't stop running.
Okay, you got it.
I can never make it through those rings.
I just made it through those rings.
That's why Chris records the Let's Plays, because he's got God Gamer skills.
Yeah, I just only show them off sometimes.
Just got those speedrunner skills.
Wait until you see some shit I pull in a minute here. It's real good. Talk amongst yourselves until then, though.
Okay. So who likes pie?
What
Yeah.
kind?
Cake.
Pie's
person.
overrated.
I like dinner pies, but dessert pies,
Dinner.
those can vary.
I made you a cookie, but I eated it?
Oh, well,
Sure.
that's just a lame internet meme.
As opposed to, do you like pie? The purest question.
Hey,
It's,
that's
an innocuous question. It's
that's-
Innocuous?
That's been my hashtag on brand. Oh, good job, Chris. That's been my hashtag on brand question for when you have nothing else to say for years now.
See, Garrett,
the-
you see, Chris is making great use of the rewind function.
Do you like waffles?
Thank you, Capcom. I'm so glad Capcom put the Disney Afternoon Rewind function in Unleashed.
I liked it when it was first used in Blinks the Time Sweeper.
That was a shit post if I ever heard one.
So,
proud of you. But also fuck
sections
you.
like that, are those sections that were missing in colors why people are like, oh, there's not enough 3D platforming? Were they looking for more of like that? Because I never understood that criticism.
I think they were still
No.
They were still looking for some Sonic Adventure-esque 3D platforming, probably.
Okay, so more like that. Gotcha.
I think it's just anything with more substance, because something about color specifically just makes you very hyper aware of how much of it is from the 2D perspective.
True.
Even though Unleashed is kind of mostly also the same thing, or just straight 3D lines like this.
Is it?
It's
Well,
like-
then is it a perception issue then? Is
It
it
might
that
be.
one game is better at having you perceive like a whole 3D and 2D versus this all feels 2D?
Well, it's weird because Unleashed was the first game to really implement the kind of like sometimes it goes 2D for the games, but I think with the ratio it is a lot. It does swing more in the 2D section for colors. But I think Mexi, as you said, a lot of the quote unquote 3D sections in Unleashed are just like the camera behind you and you're running essentially down a Crash Bandicoot corridor. Like there aren't that many like legitimate you can roam around sections in Unleashed, you know.
I think
You got
people are
the
more
maps.
hoping for. I think people are more hoping for stuff like Seaside Hill from Generations.
Yeah, or you know, or thinking of like big open. I always think of that section in City Escape Modern, that like giant fucking like pavilion, and you can just run around in. That might be the single largest like room, quote unquote, in like a 3D Sonic game, because there's a lot of space in there.
I would argue though that those those 3D corridors where you're moving at breakneck speed, I would argue that those corridors are really good in short bursts because they're a heck of a lot more exhilarating than what you can accomplish with 2D because of the 3D perspective, which allows us to essentially have a greater sense of speed because of the camera placement. because we tend to perceive faster motion if we're closer to the ground. Like if you've ever like laid on your belly on a skateboard or a sled while going downhill, you feel like
All the
yeah,
time.
if you feel like you're going a heck of a lot faster than if you were standing. Like when I was a kid, I used to lay down on my belly on a skateboard, and even going slow on a skateboard, if you're laying close to the ground, you feel like you're going a lot faster than if you were standing up. And I think that's part of what this game derives its sense of speed from is, in those 3D sections, the camera is relatively close to the ground.
No, I get you. 'Cause I actually think
That's an interesting thing I've never thought about. Yeah.
I actually think that's a problem. I would say that is one problem when the Wii version, when the camera switches to 2D, Sonic loses way too much speed compared to this version. Like he gets, compared to how he runs in 3D, he gets painfully slow.
Right. It actually comes down to a perceptual principle called optical
Oh,
flow.
you're doing the ghost mission.
Please continue. Action.
I'm just saying it comes down to a perceptual principle called optical flow. Like, you ever notice, like, when you're walking around, the environment kind of flows around you, such that you have a direction you're looking forward. You're looking forward, right? And you're walking towards an object. The direction you're heading towards, you can call that, like the focus of expansion. And as you move forward, the parts of the environment that are closer to you, they tend to, they appear to move faster as you get closer to them, whereas things that are far away from you tend to not move. And on your retina, they actually expand at a slower rate. And when it comes specifically to our sense of speed, how fast we're moving, it's actually that kind of optical flow that's important. It's the flow rate of whatever we're directing attention to, which tends to be the ground, which based on various speed perception studies that have used eye trackers, for example, in one of the labs I work in. So I'm wondering, in the context of Sonic, though, I'm wondering if a greater sense of speed could be accomplished in this sort of video game, by using, perceptual cues like, camera height and ground textures and texture gradients, maybe even some more motion blur effects, to make it feel like Sonic's moving faster than he really is.
I'm going to say the last minute was without question the smartest thing ever said
Yep.
in the history of this channel. So for that, I thank you.
I'm
And I
sorry.
understood
I'm
none of
thinking
it.
about it
It is
because like Sonic
I'll have
Adventures.
to listen to it another 3 times.
well, look,
SA1's camera was pretty low, like during that whale chase, and that felt pretty fast. I'm thinking like SA2's camera was kind of low, and that felt like a fast game.
I'm thinking like what you, because obviously I think the Sonic team have said one of the issues with especially like the boost areas, they have to make the levels so fucking long. I think if you watch Game Explain did a Under the Super Scope episode about 3D Sonic games, and he goes into the fact that John compares the Emerald Coast in SA1 to the first level of Super Mario 3D World, and it's like the Sonic, there's just so much more kind of just ground in a Sonic game to convey, so to help you convey speed. That maybe doing things like like tricks with the camera, maybe things like
Like making
change
the
all-
ground move, but without the actual geometry moving. So
Yeah,
exactly.
having him.
Yeah, which things like tricks like that might be useful to the Sonic team too, so way that they don't have to put so much fucking track in every level.
Yeah, this interaction, the interaction between, your perceived speed and, your eye height, how high up you are, that's actually a pretty darn big effect. And actually, that was actually a problem with Boeing 747 pilots a while back, because, these pilots were used to sitting at a particular height with, other models of jets. But with the 747s, they sat like 10 feet higher due to the design of the plane. So when they were taxiing around the runway, their optical flow rate wasn't what they were used to. They felt they were going slower than they actually were. So what happened was they increased their speed to compensate, to match what they were used to in terms of optical flow. And this actually resulted in a few incidents of pilots actually driving off the taxiway because they were going too fast.
Damn.
Do
Shit,
you have an
speedy
analysis
pilots.
machine or something?
No, I'm sorry. I'm just kind of nerding out because that's kind of the topics. Those are the kinds of topics I'm touching on in my dissertation.
No, please don't apologize, because again, you're saying actual shit as opposed to the fucking dumb shit we've been saying for the last. You need to speak more in the next part.
Yeah, I was just going to make fart noises for the last
Yeah.
5 minutes, but that was much better.
See, because what you say is actually interesting and makes sense.
And we just repeat the same stuff we've said 5 times.
Yeah, but you guys are entertaining about it.
No, we're not.